Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Noah team. Thank you for taking out time and joining the second webinar of the series. My name is Chintan Shah. I head the sales and new business development for Novarth globally. Interesting times, tough times. I hope you're all staying safe, taking necessary precautions, ensuring safety of yourself and of your family. As we cope up with lockdown 4.0 in India and restrictions worldwide to prevent further spread of the virus, there are many organizations, big and small, that have had an adverse effect on its functioning. Today's discussion is around relevance of IT to minimize such impact and empower businesses to be able to function normally in spite of such lockdowns. What we are facing today will definitely lead to a major transformation in the way businesses have been functioning. It will be all the more important for companies to consider IT as an important aspect in the overall scheme of things. Nova Technologies in last 6 years has been instrumental in more than 300 digital transformation projects. What was started by a four-member team in a small room or an office, if you may call it, here in Ahmedabad, has now grown to 200 plus employees globally as of today. Novarth is a technical technology solutions provider, enhancing digital experience for world's leading enterprises, also enabling businesses to build products and enter new markets. Our speakers for this evening, Samir Bhatt and Chintan Mehta, have been key architects of numerous successful digital transformation journeys. Samir Bhatt is one of the co-founders and chief technology officer at Novarth. In his experience of over 20 years in the industry, he has architected solutions for world's leading conglomerates and brings with him immense experience in application development on diverse technologies, platforms, and frameworks. Chintan Mehta, again one of the co-founders at Novarth and heads our remote infrastructure management services practice. He's involved in defining the optimal infrastructure landscape of multiple organizations, small, medium, big, depending on the requirements. Both these gentlemen this evening will share their experience of how some of world's leading organizations have benefited from some of these solutions. They will touch upon the important parameters to be considered when defining your digital transformation journey. With this, not taking much time, I would like to hand it over to Samir Bhatt to take this forward. And while he's presenting, to avoid any disturbance or noise in the background, we've muted all the other lines. However, I request you all to post your questions over the chat and we will address them at the end of the session. I thank you all once again and hope you find this session insightful. Samir, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chintan. Thank you for introduction. Uh, so I think, as Chintan mentioned, this webinar is a part of a series of webinar. Our colleagues basically presented the first webinar a few weeks back, where our focus was more on, like, as you know, that the topic is relevance of business continuity, right? So in the first webinar, our focus was for any organization, uh, if we want to figure out, are we ready for any kind of disaster or pandemics from the business continuity as perspective, how do we do that, right? So we shared our knowledge, and we shared our experience in terms of how do we basically evaluate or analyze the organization processes and practices in order to figure out where we are from the BCP perspective. And obviously, in the time of any disaster or pandemics, we can take up certain short term objectives, and make sure our business continues. So we focused on those short term objectives, how do we identify them and how do we implement them. But obviously, the important part of ensuring business continuity is to have a long term roadmap. We need to look at from the long term perspective, what are the different solutions that are needed in our organization which can ensure the overall business continuity. Okay, so the focus of this webinar will be more on sharing our experience in terms of different solutions which can help your organization to from the business continuity strategy perspective, as well as overall help your business for achieving other objectives. So basically, the first question comes to every organization is like, why do we need a BCP strategy? As any time any disaster or any pandemic like this COVID-19 happened, we can basically decide at that point of time and figure out and implement short term objectives to make sure that our business continues. But that approach has a lot of risk, because those steps are always short term. It will just allow us to run our business, but if we want to consider that when we run our business in the time of pandemics or disaster, we need to think long, we need to think that how we can run our business as usual, as before the pandemic or disaster it was running. So from that perspective, McKinsey, did one survey by interviewing various CEOs and CIOs of different companies, and asked them, a question like, what is the most important part, or what is the most important thing which you want to achieve by having a right BCP strategy in place. So 28% of the people basically mentioned that they want to ensure that the agility and time to market which they have, as usual, should be maintained even during the disaster or any pandemics, and the business continuity strategy should basically address those needs. 27% of the people, they thought that quality of services and reliability is most important for them. So it has to be basically ensured even is part of our BCP strategy. 20% of the people thought that cost efficiency. So basically during the disaster or pandemics, the cost efficiency should be maintained, and the BCP strategy should ensure that is basically addressed. 19% of the people basically focus more on security and risk reduction, and 6% of the people provided some other reasons like they want to ensure employee satisfaction, talent retention, etc. So if you look at the approach of all those CEOs or CIOs, what they're looking for in the BCP strategy is to make sure certain aspect which are even without any disaster or pandemic should be maintained. So like these are all the key basically aspect which even in a regular operation you want to basically ensure that you have right agility, time to market, quality of services and all, and they want to make sure that even during disaster or pandemics we basically cater to that. So for that, uh, I think one of the most important aspect is like we need to write digitization in the company, and we need to basically focus on digital transformation and implement various solutions. So based on our experience, we will be sharing certain solutions which we have implemented for multiple customers. So when we talk about solutions, we need to first think about like what are the important ones, right? So for any business, if we identify some of the key stakeholders, right? So customers are one of them. When we are acquiring new customer, or when we are generating leads, or generating demand for our business, when we are basically actually performing sales. So all those operations basically relevant to customer needs to have some type of digital solution, which in the time of pandemics or disaster help us to run our business as usual. The second key actor is employees. Employees are basically very important for achieving our business to continue as usual during any disaster or pandemics, and certain systems which needs to be in place, like HR solution, learning management, and intranet collaboration portal solutions like that. The third important actor in various business partner ecosystem is also very important for running their business smoothly, and that's where the partner portal or distributor portal, a portal basically centered towards the engagement with partners, needs to be there. And obviously, once we have all different type of solutions catering to these three key stakeholders, we need to ensure all these solutions are up and running and we have right IT systems in place. So we need to have right IT operations solutions to ensure all those systems are up and running even during the time of disaster. So let's start with focusing on the solutions which are focused on customer. So first one is the customer portals. So when we acquire a customer, right, and after acquisition of the customer in be it a product, be it a a company which sell product or services, you definitely have further interaction with your customers, like where customer engage with you, like in certain cases where you have recurring billing to be done if you are providing services. In product you provide support and all, right? So basically having a customer portal to engage with the customer once we acquired them is very important. We have basically implemented many customer portal solutions for different industry clients, because it's customer portal is a horizontal term, I would say. It's applicable to different industries, right? So if I take an example, like for one of the energy company in India, we have implemented a customer portal where the customer, who are basically the consumers who consume the electricity from the company, they basically access the customer portal, and they can basically view their bill, they can pay their bill, they can raise the grievances, and they can basically know various information related to energy, like offers and things like that. So basically this is a one example of the customer portal which is for a utility or energy industry. We also created customer portal solution for insurance companies as well, where we focused on when the insurance company sells a insurance product like a policy. uh, Once the policy is sold, the customer keep engage with the company for renewal of their premiums or raising claims and things like that. And even in that case, we could sell other products based on the base product which customer has bought. So these are the some of the examples of customer portal. And I think most important aspect for customer portal is to provide self service capabilities. Okay. And if you look at the key objectives, what customer portal can provide, it will improve your customer experience drastically, because customer do not need, I mean, they can do lot of stuff on their own by using self service features, and it provides them all the information at one place. It reduces support cost. When you have a self service capability, lot of your support calls can be reduced and ultimately reduce your support cost. It helps you to cross sell other products, so in a way it will help you to increase your sales. and it basically also makes sure that you are always connected with your customer, and you can basically, if you want to launch new things or you want to conduct surveys, you always have a reach with the direct reach with the customer. And ultimately, if we look at like the kind of investment we make in customer portal, we get the best return out of it. Okay. The next one, which I would like to talk about, is a community portal solution. Again, it is relevant to customer, and even uh, if one, even I can say that it's even to the people who can be our potential customer. Okay, so we have built a community portal for one of the largest telecom provider in India, where the community portal was basically connecting various people, including customers, the including people who can be our potential customers, including people who are our vendors or partners basically. So what they had is basically for a telecom company, they have essentially telecom plans. They also sell hardware or mobile devices along with the plan. So likewise, once you get all those products, you always have questions, or even before purchasing questions, you want to know more about those things, right? And having collaboration among the community is the best way to basically satisfy all your questions, where one person asks questions and other people who are using those services can answer, and that gives more confidence. So the community portal is also one of the important aspect for, I mean, it may not be relevant to all the companies, but obviously if you are in the area of products, then obviously that will be a best way to basically engage your customers and your prospects and partners, and allow them to collaborate, even including our staff members also. So what it can achieve is like it will increase the reach, as you can now have a community where there will be people who can be our potential customers, or those who are our customers, and you can reach out to them. It increases collaboration, so among all the people, a lot of questions, queries, or lot of doubts can be cleared by collaboration itself. It increases your brand familiarity. So by having this kind of initiative, because community portal will be a kind of non-profit making initiative where you are providing a platform to people to collaborate, and by having this kind of portal, people connect even if they are not using products, so that way you can make your brand familiar to lot many people, than just providing simple marketing information. And for customers, it gives more satisfaction, because now you don't just need to rely on the company itself, but you can even collaborate and get answers from different people. The next one is the digital commerce or e-commerce portal solution. So obviously, for retail industry, it is a de facto solution. But now, if we look at all different industry now, more and more people are buying their products or services online, right? So it's one of the, it's gaining this, the digital channel for sales transaction is gaining day by day. And in this kind of solution helps us during the time of pandemics or disaster, by as it is a digital, and if we make our systems up and running, we can continue our business as usual. We are not relied upon other other resources which we need in brick and mortar kind of business model. So like we have basically implemented different type of digital commerce and e-commerce solutions. If I talk about couple of them, one of the solution which we implemented again for a insurance provider, where we basically provided a seamless user journey to buy insurance policy, life insurance products. So a prospect basically comes to our digital commerce portal, start filling up basic details, get quote of the policy product, and then buy it. And even from the portal itself, they can, if there is a medical checkup required, he can schedule medical checkup. And at the end of the whole workflow, he receives a product policy product digitally in his email account. So this kind of digital channel helps them to run their business as usual, even in the time of pandemics or disaster. Similarly, the another example which I want to talk about is for a retail industry. Again, I want it's something similar. Like lot of, I mean, most of the retail industry players, they do have this kind of e-commerce portal where you can browse your product, shop, use shopping cart, and make payment, and then manage orders and so on. So that's another example which we did for a grocery chain in US. Uh, so basically, if we look at from the objective perspective, digital commerce or e-commerce portal that helps us overcome geographic limitation, because with digital channel you don't have any geographic limitation. You can run your business wherever you want, even though you don't have physical space or physical office over there. Uh, Another thing is, with digital channel, one benefit is we can provide personalized customer experience. So which I think in your brick and mortar kind of shops, it will be kind of difficult. Like we can basically capture people's interest, and using artificial intelligence we can basically provide relevant option which the person is looking for. And it gives more personalized experience to the people or customers basically. It basically, compared to brick and mortar shop, it's a low cost solution where you don't need too many resources to manage to acquire new customers. And obviously it gives, like you get repeated customer, so customer retention will be quite easy. And it gives whatever investment we make, I think it will give you a best return on the investment. The next one is a digital marketing portal or enterprise CMS portal. Again, this is what basically is, it's your front end website where you provide your all the you provide all your marketing content, and using SEO and other advertising, you basically market all your products and services. So it's a way to generate demand, so that you get a lot of leads, and then you can convert those leads into opportunities, and ultimately acquire the customer. We have done many such implementations, and specifically talking about bigger organization, where this particular piece is very important, and it plays a vital role when you are operating into multiple countries, where country specific country specific variations will be there in your services content. You need to support multiple languages, and one of the important thing is you need to have a portal solution where without taking help of any technical team, you should as a business you should be able to make new marketing publish new marketing content or run campaigns. So we have done it for multiple customers, including in the industries like banking industry, insurance industries, uh, telecom. So many industries we have basically developed solutions for digital marketing and using enterprise CMS. and it helps basically increasing revenue by combining with SEO and pay per click ads. We can basically get potential customers through our website or portal. It helps us building the brand of our company, where people not just look at our logo and name, they can see what we do, how we do, and they know all and in and out details of our services and products, which help them and which will create a brand in the market. uh, it in nowadays, like in the age of internet, like spoiling reputation of companies are very easy, and having a place where we have the authentic information of our company and services help us to manage our reputation in online. So that's also one of the purpose which we can consider for a digital marketing portal. And obviously it allows us to run various type of campaigns to attract more and more people, more and more customers, uh, basically towards our product or services. So now I talked about all customer specific solutions. If we look at the other two actors, that is employees uh, and partners, like there our focus should be more on enabling remote operations capability, so remotely working with employees as well as partners. And we need to have right solutions in place. With that, we can basically, in the time of any disaster or pandemics, we can work remotely together and run our business as usual. So from employee perspective, the key solutions are like learning management solutions, HR system basically, and intranet collaboration platform. So these are the three solutions which we think are very important and must for any business to ensure their employee, when they are engaging with employees remotely, they can help us to run our business as usual, even employees are working remotely, and it empowers your employees basically. So we have implemented HR solutions for multiple customers. We have our own product basically. So the HR solution is more focused towards implementing the whole employee life cycle in our company, right? From evaluating or hunting for a candidate, and hiring them, onboarding them, engaging during their tenure, from the HR perspective, administering all the HR activities, and even retention part as well. So this whole life cycle can be managed through the HR solution. And it will have it has basically various features like employee onboarding, if I say, right? So in our product basically, the whole employee onboarding is digitized, where once the employee joins a company, he is given a link, and from the link he will have a wizard where he can basically fill up various information, upload various documents required to onboard a person. So all those things are automatically yeah, I mean, once the employee fills all those details, his user ID is automatically created. He got all the access automation automatically. So all those things will be automated. So you can imagine that if they are working remotely, they can still we can still onboard employees even without personally meeting them. Other things, like they can submit their expenses, payroll can be managed through digital solution, leave management. So these are various features which enable managing employee life cycle very easily, and the whole HR operation works smoothly even all people are working remotely. Second important solution which focused on employees learning management solution for any organization. making sure employees are skilled enough to meet our quality of services and quality development of our products. It is very important that team or employees are basically trained enough, and a digital solution for keep tracking of their learning path is very important. So from the organization perspective, it gives confidence that we confidence and a streamlined process to ensure that all their employees are trained. And if it is available online, then you can imagine people can remotely learn, we can assign trainings to them remotely, we can track their progress, and we can evaluate after the training is completed. So whole learning life cycle of an employee can be managed remotely. And on the organization side, we can basically manage the talent very well, by assigning right type of trainings for them. And obviously it also helps employees having a very clear path from their knowledge perspective, where they are going from the knowledge perspective. They know their integrated learning path very clearly. So we also have our own learning management solution, which we have implemented for multiple customers. Again, here this use case which we have implemented for a telecom company, as well as energy, oil and energy company, where they have more than 50,000 users, right? So this learning management solution we have developed for their employees as well as partners. So when the partner or employees are onboarded, they are assigned default trainings, and once they are assigned, they need to complete all those training in certain time period. After training is completed, we can evaluate them. So whole learning life cycle is digitized very well. Workflows are being implemented, so it helps run your employee specific learning operation very smoothly, right? So if we look at features, like it provides integrated learning paths, course management, knowledge management, blended learning, personalized training, built-in other built-in tools, like running virtual conferences and things like that. They are part of the solution. It helps improving our learning and development efficiency. It also provides a document repository where we can have all the documents related to a topic, centralize all the videos and all, so that people can anytime go and learn. And ultimately, by having right skilled people and rightly trained people, it will give return. It will improve our overall return on investment, which we are making on employees, as well as on the learning management solution. The next one is intranet collaboration portal or digital workplace solution, where it's a kind of umbrella solution, which I could say for which will include other two solutions as well, or integrate with other two solutions. So it's a single window for employees, where they can come, they know the latest things happening in your company, their department, their various functions, basically projects and so on. So it allows you to have all the latest information or content available to employees relevant to them. It helps providing all different tools, like for example travel desks, raising help desk tickets and things like that, right? So all those various tools which employee needs can be provided to employees through the intranet and collaboration portal. Even the HRMS and learning management solutions, which I talked about, will be integrated with this intranet solution, where you can directly access those other solutions from this particular intranet portal. So it becomes a single window for your employees, where they can come and they can have all the information, all the tools available to them for your which are available within your organization. We have implemented many intranet solutions for different companies, including IT enabled companies, again general insurance companies, banking companies, and so on, right? So those intranet solutions, the key goal, it ultimately improves the overall productivity of your employees and increases the employee engagement. And it helps us basically, in the time of pandemic or disaster, remotely they can have they are basically up to date about the company. They can use all different tools, and that is one of the key solution which can help us continue our business during disasters. Now, another important actor is a partner, and for partner, basically, it may not be relevant to all the businesses, but in most of the businesses, a partner ecosystem plays a big role to in the growth of the company. And when we talk about business continuity, we need to also basically make sure that we are very well connected with our partners. We are communicating right things to our partners, and from that perspective, uh, we need to have right solution in place, which basically acts a bridge between partners and the company. And we have basically implemented various partner portal solutions. So if I talk about a use case, then one of the use cases again for a telecom company, where we implemented a partner solution where they have 1 million partners in whole country, and those partners are organized into a specific hierarchy, where various alliance managers focused on specific region and specific set of partners, and they ensure right communication goes about the products, services, or any changes and things like that. So that was one of the solution which we developed for a telecom provider. Second one, if I talk about, is for again a life insurance company, where lot of their life insurance products are sold via distributors. So we build a distributor portal where all the distributors are managed, their accounting, their commissions, and they can see their accounts based on the kind of business they have generated. So it helps all the information at one place to distributors, and they are more or partners or distributors, they are more encouraged to do more work for us when we provide them all information at one place with all the statistics. So some of the features that we implemented in the partner portal solution, like onboarding partners and trainings basically for partner, marketing information or marketing material which they can use for helping us to sell more, their query resolution, and overall partner management. So these are the various functions. These are few functions I can talk about, but depending on the specific industry, it's a one single place where all your interaction with be of the partner will be implemented. And even in certain cases, onboarding of partner can be streamlined, digitized, so it helps us to scale our partner ecosystem as well. Okay, so with that, I would like to basically now the next important aspect of different solutions are, we talked about various solutions, but the important thing is to make sure all our solutions are always up and running, and we need various IT operation related solutions. So I hand over to Chintan, who is my fellow co-founder and expert in the area. So Chintan, over to you.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you for
Yeah,
giving.
let me unshare my screen.
Yeah. Chintan, can you just confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah, thanks, Ian.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Samir, for the wonderful and insightful information on various digital solutions, which is pretty much relevant for any organizations. Now, as Samir has covered the various digital solutions, which is pretty much relevant for the organizations. Now, the primary thing for an IT operations is to ensure that those digital solutions are always up and running and available along with during the business continuity planning and the pandemics as well. So the tagline, which probably all of us might have been gone through now, which is hoping for the best, which we have noticed in our current pandemic as well, and prepare for the worst, which should be the tagline for any organizations for the business continuity, and same goes for the IT operations as well. So over here, we would be covering four major aspects when we are talking of the enabling the IT operations for the business continuity, which is infrastructure monitoring solution, IT service desk management, which is also referred as help desk, remote infrastructure management, and the DevOps automation. We'll be discussing these four pillars for the IT operations during the business continuity in detail. So before we move forward, first thing we need to understand whether our infrastructure is ready for the business continuity. Where some of the key goals and the KPIs which should be taken care is ensuring that 100% operationalization of all the services is there. There is no or minimal impact on the employee and the customer commitments. With that, we need to involve each department and the functions during the business continuity planning. And obviously, once we have that in place, we need to ensure that we continuously, regularly test it. And if there is any failures, we should make it pretty quick and with the adjustment, and ensure that the infrastructure is always available, up and running. And when we talk about the areas which should be looked upon when talking about IT infrastructure readiness, primary thing is the monitoring should be in place, right? Monitoring tools and the solution should be in place. Along with that, security, help desk, server management, high availability, which is one of the another key aspect while having the business continuity. And the rest are in terms of uh, enhancing the business continuity, which is the automation with help of the right DevOps tools, and doing the seamless deployments for the applications and the digital solutions, and doing the performance testing, because in case of any spikes in the users, and if there is no performance, then the user might go to the another site, which is pretty risky, right? So which is where we now would be covering few of the aspects in terms of building up a fail-safe IT operations as part of business process management. In our earlier series of webinar, we had covered the planning part, where we ensured that the right business continuity plan is in place, right objectives has been set for the organization, and the goals are completely aligned with the objectives as well. In this specific section, we would be covering the do part, check part, and the act part. Do is the actions which we need to be prepared for, which is cloud infrastructure readiness, ensuring that monitoring for the infrastructure is happening holistically, and also ensure along with that that we have the right compliance needs with for the security and the logs in there. And scalability is something which we cannot avoid always while planning for the business continuity. The next section is the check part, which is testing part always, where we have the disaster recovery, remotely managing the infrastructure, cloud enabled infrastructure readiness, and the compliance audits as well. Those things also should be taken care remotely, and ensuring that it's a fail safe operations for the IT. And act is the last part, where if there is any failures find out, we need to fix it fast and ensure that next time we don't overcome that thing. Where the areas like SLA driven remote infrastructure management should be there, along with that proactive monitoring and management should be there. And also one of the key aspects which we should look at is enhancing the DevOps maturity level, where we do take care of the continuous deployment, integration, and the infrastructure scaling as well. So let's look at the infrastructure readiness from the network monitoring solution. When we are talking of the network monitoring, the unified monitoring solution, the key aspects to be looked at is the application performance monitoring. Along with that, SLA monitoring is also one of the key parts, which is in generally referred as uptime monitoring as well. And with that, we should have the business service monitoring. Business service monitoring is where we have an infrastructure stack in place. However, at any of the infrastructure layer, if there is any issue, it should be able to monitor those and it should be able to highlight. And along with that, if we have the trend analysis being done by any monitoring solution, that helps a lot. And any monitoring solution should also help us for the auto remediation in case if there is any unexpected spikes or unexpected issues which we might have noticed. We already have such kind of solution, which is completely AI enabled and can do the predictive analysis. We would be going in detail. We will be having a quick demo as well onto those specific area. Now, as we talk about the remote infrastructure management, there are a lot of areas which one should be looking at, which is starting from network monitoring, server monitoring, your network flow as well, log management, URLs, database. There are a lot of areas which one should be looking at. And obviously the remediation actions, notification should be there. And one of the key part, which is the root cause analysis of any of the problem, that is also one of the important area and aspect which one should be looking at. With the monitoring solution, right monitoring solution in place, which is what we would be referring to, that does all these things, and on top of that, it does lot of additional stuff as well, which would be really helpful for having the right proactive monitoring and management for the complete infrastructure. Let it be your endpoints, your virtualizations, your network layer. It can do for anything, which becomes really helpful. And along with that, obviously this monitoring solution would help you to give a custom dashboard and a single dashboard which gives you a holistic view of the whole infrastructure, which is what we referred. And also with some of the automation tools, we can also have the benefits of having the right compliances in place, because being an IT infrastructure, we know that the hefty need of the compliance requirements in terms of logs or monitoring it and managing it. So those compliance needs also can be taken care with such kind of solution, and which we need to ensure that those right tools and solutions are there to ensure that IT operations are running effectively. With that, we'll go to the next section, which is the IT service desk management, which is also referred as help desk management, which is one of the common thing which one would already have into the organizations, because once we have the right monitoring in place, the management is also there in place, but the service desk, the request which are coming in or any issues are coming in, those should be completely tracked and monitored and managed as well. So the solution which we have for the IT service desk management is completely ITIL compliant process. It should be ITIL compliant process, and it is PING certified as well, where it does cover the service management, problem and incident management, change management, and one of the key aspect, which is the asset management as well. So it does take care of the hardware and the software management. And along with that, it's a self-service portal where the knowledge base is also taken care. So in case if the user or end user has any issues, they can refer the knowledge base for the current challenges which one would be having it. With that, we'll quickly move to the demo for our monitoring and the monitoring log management and ITSM. So as we just discussed on the three different aspects, which is network monitoring, network management and monitoring, log management, and ITSM. So if you see, there are a lot of different areas which one has to cover and part of in each of those sections, which we would be discussing in this specific area. This basically, with help of this, to look forward. So let it be the infrastructure analysis or the network analysis. Those things are one of the key aspects, especially in such scenarios where we have the the end users, endpoints, which were in the completely in the perimeter of our security, which has now suddenly came completely directly connected to the internet, which exposes a lot of information. So while doing that, you can have the light log management in place, where the complete firewall and your logs would be basically logged, and you can have the predictive analysis when there is any unprecedented or unexpected scenarios in terms of same users getting logged in, they have expired passwords, all those things can be done. This specific solution which we are discussing, it's completely agentless, so which helps for many of the IT operations people to ensure that there is no overheads for the agents installation. And you can also have the compliance reporting, which we discussed already, and you can in fact do any kind of log management, let it be any devices, let it be from the mobile devices, let it be from the servers, let it be from the applications as well. So with that, you can do all the complete holistic view of the log management as well. And on top of that, you can also do the log correlation as well, which is what you can define that based on the status code on your web server, what is the correlation on your application server. If you want to find that, you would be able to do it easily with help of the right solution in place for the log management. And the last part is our ITSM. And the ITSM, where you can see there are three primary aspects, which is service desk, asset management, and patch deployment. So all these three aspects does cover good amount of information, and basically it's a bread and butter for any IT operations person. That service desk, where the incident management, change management, knowledge management is happening, and along with that, it also does take care of the asset management too, where you can not only have your hardware assets being monitored, you can also have your non-hardware assets as well, the physical assets, and you can also do the complete software asset management as well, along with its compliance too. And with a single click of web-based access for the remote desktop, you can help users to resolve the issues. And the last part is the patch deployment as well, which is the complete patch management solution, where you can have your Windows updates to be installed, to be configured. It can be a set of users, it can be with a single click. You can install it in probably 500 different systems as well, which is basically helping you to achieve the right utilization of the IT operations. And it is available on the mobile as well, which is pretty much required in these days. And you can also have, when we have 24/7 operations, you can also have your smart load balancing for assigning the tickets, where based on your shift roster, you can also assign the tickets to the relevant person. And the primary thing is obviously the SLA management, which is an integral part of the ITL compliance.
अजय पेलू केस स्टडीज में यार एडवेंट तो अभी लाइफरेज के जे यार एक बार चेक कर लेना लाइफरे मिला मुझे
that is being taken care in the ITSM solutions which we are discussing. So what are the benefits of having the right remote infrastructure management solutions? So now we had the right monitoring in place, where we are doing the infrastructure monitoring, we are doing the log management as well, and we are doing the right ITSM tool as well. However, externalizing it with the right remote infrastructure management solution experts, that helps you to achieve a lot of different things, which is being covered in this specific slide. Which first thing is obviously the cost reduction in terms of the manpower requirement that can be taken care, along with the right expertise, domain experts, certified domain experts, that gives pretty much comfort view for any IT operations to run, which is one of the common problem which many of the organizations fail. And such remote infrastructure management solution providers, like we also do for many of our customers, where there are best practices and the regular service levels are being maintained and managed. So having those right experts in place, you would be able to leverage a lot of different benefits while having the remote infrastructure management solutions being outsourced to the right audience. With that, I will quickly move to the next section, which is DevOps automation. Looking at the time, there are only 3 minutes left as per the planning. So there is the last section, which is from the DevOps automation, where we need to ensure that we do take care of the tree which has been mentioned over there for any DevOps implementation, which is we generally refer as DevOps maturity, which does take care of the release management, basic automation steps, and well-defined DevOps processes, which is the essential thing which one should have to ensure that availability of the application with the right DevOps tools and the minimal downtime with no or minimal human intervention should be there. With that, you should be able to move to the next one, which is the structured part, where the complete automated release management, integration with different tools, and single click build and deploy should be there, along with the log and the application monitoring too, which is a structured part for any DevOps automation, and a lot of benefits which we'll be discussing in our subsequent slide. uh, Once we reach to the structure level, we should be going to the advanced level where the on-demand infrastructure need should be accommodated, which is one of the important thing which where one should be taking care for any of those user spikes, or in such scenarios where we are facing currently as well during the pandemic, that the current user spikes have increased for probably our firewall as well. It has increased for our online e-commerce solution as well. So over there, having the right automation DevOps tool, infrastructure automation based on the demand should be available, and it should be cloud ready DevOps, which would help you to achieve the last and the exceptional part. With this, I'll move to the last section, which is the DevOps automation benefits. So by having the DevOps automation tools in place and the right processes, if we are defining it, that would help you to achieve good amount of things when we are executing it, or for the accelerating time to market as well. We can increases the quality. It does help you to achieve the right environment utilization, infrastructure utilization up to 80%, which is one of the pretty common problem for any organization, whether the infrastructure is underutilized or overutilized, which in a way it helps a lot from the cost perspective as well. It does help a lot for better collaboration within the team, within the development team and the IT operations team as well. And if it is pretty well defined, it would help you to reduce the downtime by almost 98%, because it reduces the human intervention. It reduces the taste fails as well. It helps for a stable environment. So those are the key aspects which one should be looking while implementing the DevOps automation. And from the business benefit perspective, obviously you have more time to add value into your digital solutions and have a better product and the solution for your customers. And obviously the key part is when you are developing it, you can have a feasibility or flexibility for much faster delivery of the features than in the traditional scenarios of the manual deployments and without automation. So with this, I would go to the last part, which is obviously the questions. So we are open for the questions, any questions you have. And in case if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to our Twitter handle as well. You can reach out to Samir Sripat, and for me it's ChintanM1985. You can reach out to our Twitter handles as well.
Okay, thank you, Chintan, and thanks, Samir, for the insightful session. I see there are a few questions in the Q&A. First one is, what are primary challenges IT operations face in...
Chintan, your voice is very low.
Is it better now?
Yes, Chintan.
Yeah. So I think the first question is, what are IT operations face in current pandemic crisis?
Okay,
Just from the operations perspective, CM, if you could take that one.
Yeah, just let me confirm. So it's basically the challenges one faced during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay, okay.
Basically, in case of lockdown or in case of discontinuity of business, what are the parameters that should be taken care of? I think that's what it means.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So, in general, yes, IT operations, I would put up into three different buckets. One key aspect is security. Second thing is scalability, and the third part is the hardware failures. Those are the three key aspects where one in the IT operations have faced. And we did already discuss in during our webinar that for the security you can leverage the log management tools, and for the scalability you need to ensure that your infrastructure is ready with the cloud deployments and with the right automation tools in place. And for hardware failures, in fact, we also faced a similar kind of issue, but the virtual desktop implementation was a savior for us. So those are the three primary things which probably I can think of during the business continuity, and especially in the pandemics which we are going through right now.
Yeah. Thanks, CM. I hope that answers the question. There's one more which is on DevOps. I believe this is what you presented. The question states that they do not have a complete understanding of DevOps, but the challenges are similar. So, how if they want to implement DevOps, how do they move forward? Yeah, that's what I think it means.
Right, right. So yes, we had been doing many DevOps implementation for many of our customers, and these are the most common ones which we come across for the organizations. However, looking at the benefits, there are a bunch of them. So my suggestion would be to focus on the DevOps maturity model, which we discussed during the session, and we would be sharing the presentation as well, which would help you to understand it much better. And we can also help you further in case you want to have the DevOps assessment. In fact, if there is any BCP planning also needs to be done for the cloud readiness, we can do it for you. So we would be helpful in those specific areas as well. And you can obviously reach out to our Twitter handles for further information or further queries.
Okay. So I believe the assessments can definitely help.
Absolutely.
It requires maybe like a workshop or assessment that we do for a lot of our customers.
Yes. And that has helped. Yes, Chintan, and that has helped a lot of customers to understand for the DevOps or the BCP planning and the infrastructure assessment. It has helped customers to understand where do they stand and what is the path going forward, which is basically the key part for any organizations.
Yeah, it helps you identify the roadmap as well, right?
True.
Okay, I think there's one more.
Mhm.
It is more on the application side of it, right? Samir, I think this one is for you. It says, there are certain applications already part of their ecosystem, like travel desk, document management system. They also have a help desk. So, if they were to unify all these systems into a single intranet solution, along with the features that you mentioned, what should be the approach? How do they?
Okay, right.
Question.
Okay, so I think this is in line what I mentioned. Like for any, as I mentioned in my explanation, that intranet solution is a kind of a single window solution for all the employees. So all our tools, systems should be available to the employees, through intranet. So it always depends on what approach we would like to take. We have done similar unification of different applications. In many cases, like certain applications are migrated to a intranet solution, and certain applications we did integration by implementing single sign-on, so that a link is available on your intranet portal, and when user clicks on that link, which has a similar look and feel, from the employee perspective, it's a transparent migration where they come up into the specific system, which also has single sign-on implemented, so they don't need to log in again, and they can move in both the solution vice versa transparently. So I think that is one of the approach. So there are two possibilities. One is like migrating the system into the intranet solution itself, or second one is having single sign-on implemented. and we can basically, I mean, it's not a kind of a de facto solutions, I would say. When we suggest that if you can come approach us, we can analyze and we can suggest which systems we need to basically migrate, or we should migrate, on which we can implement using single sign-on. So that depends on our business needs. I hope this.
To what Samir said, right? We've worked with similar organizations in the past, and I think the ideal way forward is conduct an assessment, and that's what Samir mentioned, right? Identify your key systems, the ones that you want to take to as part of the consolidation initiative, and then depending on the requirement, we can define the approach, whether it should be done through a single sign-on or should it be embedded as part of the overall intranet system, things like that. So I think the key is to have that assessment, and we do carry out those assessments. Yeah, I think these were the questions. Samir, I think this question is not posted, but this is one question which I come across quite frequently, which is in terms of partner portal. So partner portal is quite a unique offering. I think it's not as common. We don't see that much with a lot of these enterprises. And whenever we talk to customers and some of their stakeholders, their question is again, how do they onboard, or how do they create the onboarding process in terms of the complex document scrutiny that's required, right? So you more often than not, there's a lot of compliances and document scrutiny that has to be followed. So they keep on asking us about our experience on implementing a similar solution. What would be the approach after the onboarding process and such? So if you can probably throw some light basis the implementations that we've done so far on similar lines. Is that question clear to you, Samir? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Chintan, you're audible. I think.
Then so Chintan, I got it. The question is like, when we are onboarding partners, and if there is a complex scrutiny of document needs to be done, how we can implement that, as part of the partner solution, right?
Right.
Okay. So I think in our experience, we have implemented similar use cases for multiple customers, and so what we call it as a know your customer, know your vendor, basically, or know your partner use case, where when partner is signing up, right? So it has to be, there has to be a proper workflow, and the workflow will be a multi-stage workflow. And so from the partner side, for one of the telecom customer, the way we have implemented is like, the partner sign up a form, a very basic form with some basic details, and his partner request will be submitted, and here they submit a very basic document, like, which are just to evaluate whether we can onboard that partner or not. So that is basically a partner onboarding. And after partner is onboarded, before they can access all the partner features, there are further detailed scrutiny needs to be done for all different documents, like, for example, in that customer, all the shop and establishment certificate and all those various documents needs to be submitted by the partner, right? So after partner sign up, they receive a login, and on the other side, there is a partner acquisition team, which basically approves their request further, and it reaches to the next stage, where they need to fill up all different information and submit all the documents. That again will be, going through a workflow where even legal departments scrutinize all the documents and verify it, and ultimately the request pass through that workflow and is accepted. And then partner basically receives a communication where he can have full access to the partner portal. So that kind of complex workflow can be implemented, which digitize the whole partners onboarding process, where there is no manual intervention is required. So I think that could be a right solution, and we have implemented such solution for many customers. We can help the in that area as well, if they provide more details.
Okay. I hope that makes it clear. And again, key to any initiative is have the right discovery session, have the right assessment, workshop, and then
So with that, I suppose we are done with the questions, and we have already overshooted the time because a lot of good information is yet to be delivered, yet to be shared with all of you. We thank you for spending your time, your precious time for the webinar, the second series of the specific webinar. We will be having few similar webinars on the similar topics for the BCP series. The next one, which is planned, is the digital workplace solutions, where we would be focusing more on the employment solutions, employment benefits, which is the internal primary stakeholders for the organizations. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for the participation.
Thank you, everyone.